You are listening to Growth Hacker, the leading podcast series where we explore the latest trends and strategies in growth hacking and marketing. In each episode, we share insights and tips on how to grow your business, audience, and brand. Whether you are a startup founder, a marketer, or a curious learner, this podcast will help you discover new ways to optimize your growth and achieve your goals. Growth Hacker is brought to you by Growth Hacker Inc., which is the brainchild of Aditya Basu. Stay tuned for today's episode.
Today's episode is using webinars and podcasts to increase sales and boost revenue. Tips and tricks for engaging your audience with webinars and podcasts. Webinars and podcasts are two powerful tools that businesses can use to generate leads and sales. By producing and promoting high-quality niche webinars and podcasts on their area of expertise and operations, businesses can reach a wider audience, establish themselves as thought leaders in their industry, and build relationships with potential customers. Number 1. Define your target audience and their pain points. The first step in creating a successful webinar or podcast is to define your target audience. Who are you trying to reach? What are their needs and pain points? Once you understand your target audience, you can tailor your content to address their specific interests. For example, if you are a business that sells software for small businesses, your target audience might be small business owners who are looking for ways to improve their business operations. Their pain points might include not having enough time to manage their business, not having the right tools to manage their business, not being able to track their progress, not being able to track their inventory, not being able to track expenses, not being able to handle customer support, not being able to stop online fraudulent orders, not being able to deliver on time. By understanding your target audience's pain points, you can create content that suggests solutions and is relevant and valuable to them. This will make them more likely to attend your webinar or listen to your podcast. Number 2. Choose a relevant and catchy topic that addresses customer needs and interests. Once you know your target audience and their pain points, you need to choose a relevant and catchy topic for your webinar or podcast. The topic should be something that your audience is interested in and that will provide them with value and solutions to their real-life problems. For example, if you are a business that sells accounting software for small businesses, you could choose a topic like how to improve your cash flow predictions using accounting software. This is a relevant topic that would be of interest to small business owners. It is also important to make sure that your topic is catchy. This will help you to attract attention and get people to sign up for your webinar or podcast. You can make your topic catchy by using strong verbs, interesting facts, and relevant keywords. Number 3. Plan and prepare your content outline and script. Once you have chosen a topic, it's time to start planning your content. Create an outline of the topics you will cover and write a script for your presentation. This will help you stay on track during your webinar or podcast and ensure that you cover all of the important points. Your outline should include the following: an introduction that introduces the topic and your audience, the main body of your presentation, which covers the key points of your topic, a conclusion that summarizes your main points and calls to action. Your script should be written in a clear and concise style. It should be easy for you to read and understand, and it should be easy for your audience to follow. For a webinar, you should keep some scope for live Q&A, and for podcasts, some follow-up online discussions. Number 4. Provide value and actionable tips that showcase your expertise and credibility. The goal of your webinar or podcast is to provide value to your audience. Share your expertise and insights on the topic, and offer them actionable tips that they can use to improve their situation. For example, if you are a business that sells software for small businesses, you could offer tips on how to use the software to improve your business operations. You could also share case studies of how other businesses have used the software to improve their results. By providing value to your audience, you will build trust and credibility. This will make them more likely to do business with you in the future. Number 5. Include a clear and compelling call to action that leads to your offer or product. At the end of your webinar or podcast, you should include a clear and compelling call to action. Tell your audience what you want them to do next, whether it's signing up for your email list, downloading a free ebook, or purchasing your product or just giving you a call. Your call to action should be specific and easy to follow. It should also be relevant to the content of your webinar or podcast. For example, if you are a business that sells software for small businesses, you could offer a free trial of your software. You could also offer a discount on your software if people sign up for your email list. By including a clear and compelling call to action, you will increase the chances of generating leads and sales. Number 6. Create a landing page and a registration form for your webinar or podcast. Once you have created your webinar or podcast, you need to create a landing page and a registration form. The landing page should provide more information about your webinar or podcast and convince your audience to sign up. The registration form should collect the information you need from your audience, such as their name, email address, and company. Your landing page should be visually appealing and easy to navigate. It should also include a strong call to action that encourages people to sign up for your webinar or podcast. Number 7. Use engaging and interactive features such as polls, Q&A, and chat. Webinars and podcasts can be a one-way street, but they don't have to be. Use engaging and interactive features to keep your audience engaged and involved. Polls, Q&A sessions, and chat are all great ways to get your audience involved. For example, you could ask your audience a question at the beginning of your webinar or podcast. You could also have a Q&A session at the end of your webinar or podcast. You could also have a chat room where your audience can interact with you and each other. You can also host a poll other than having a Q&A session. A poll is a great way to understand whether they liked your webinar or podcast. Poll can also tell you about customer preferences on product features and service offerings. By using engaging and interactive features, you will keep your audience interested and engaged. This will help you to improve the overall experience of your webinar or podcast, and you can also get insight from them by interacting with the target group. Number 8. Promote your webinar or podcast through multiple channels and platforms. Once you have created your webinar or podcast, you need to promote it through multiple channels and platforms. Share it on social media, email it to your email list, and promote it on your website. The more people you can reach, the more leads and sales you will generate. You can promote your webinar or podcast on the following channels: social media, email, your website, industry publications, partner websites, paid advertising. By promoting your webinar or podcast on multiple channels and platforms, you will increase the chances of reaching a wider audience. Number 9. Follow up with your attendees or listeners via email or social media. After your webinar or podcast is over, don't forget to follow up with your attendees or listeners. Send them a thank you email and offer them a free resource or discount. You can also follow up with them on social media. Here are some tips for following up with your attendees or listeners. Send a thank you email within 24 hours of the webinar or podcast. Offer a free resource or discount to your attendees or listeners. Follow up with your attendees or listeners on social media. Ask for feedback on your webinar or podcast. By following up with your attendees or listeners, you will stay top of mind and increase the chances of generating leads and sales. Number 10. Nurture your leads with valuable content and personalized messages. Once you have collected leads from your webinar or podcast, you need to nurture them. Send them valuable content, such as blog posts, ebooks, and white papers. You can also send them personalized messages to keep them engaged. Here are some tips for nurturing your leads. Send your leads valuable content on a regular basis. Personalize your messages to your leads. Ask your leads questions to get to know them better. Offer your leads a free trial of your product or service. By nurturing your leads, you will increase the chances of converting them into customers. Number 11. Track and measure your results using analytics tools. It's important to track and measure the results of your webinars and podcasts. This will help you determine what is working and what is not. You can use analytics tools to track things like attendance, engagement, and lead generation. Here are some tips for tracking and measuring the results of your webinars and podcasts. Use a webinar platform that provides analytics. Track attendance and engagement during your webinar or podcast. Collect leads from your webinar or podcast. Use analytics tools to track the results of your lead nurturing campaigns. By tracking and measuring the results of your webinars and podcasts, you will be able to optimize your webinars and podcasts for better results. Conclusion. Webinars and podcasts are two powerful tools that businesses can use to generate leads and sales. By following the tips in this podcast, you can create and promote high-quality webinars and podcasts that will help you reach a wider audience, establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry, and build relationships with potential customers.
That concludes today's episode. You were listening to the leading podcast series called Growth Hacker, brought to you by Growth Hacker Inc. Growth Hacker Inc. is the brainchild of Aditya Basu. He and his team of content and marketing experts help small and SMEs grow fast using ATL, BTL and TTL marketing. Here in this Growth Hacker podcast, we share our insights on 360 degrees marketing and global marketing trends. Get in touch with Aditya Basu via WhatsApp to get affordable quotes regarding customized marketing plans and content creation and distribution services. Visit growthack.substack.com today. That was growthack.substack.com. Grow fast. Grow now.